Hey guys, this is Kevin from JazTime.com. JazTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so that our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. We offer the lowest prices anywhere online. If you want to know the price, simply click on the links in the description below. And if you enjoy our videos, we would greatly appreciate it if you would buy a watch from JazTime.com and once in a while. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on. Today we're going to be doing a comparison between two Rolex watches, specifically here on my left, the Yacht-Master 40, reference number 116622, versus the Rolex Deepsea here on my right. This is the James Cameron edition, reference number 116660. We're going to be talking about the dial, bezel, case, crown, bracelet, clasp, and we'll talk about the movements towards the end of the video. Alright, so starting with the Yacht-Master 2, we're going to be talking about the dials. So for the colors of the dial, if you're not interested in the colorings that we have here currently, this is the Rhodium dial with blue accents. You can also get the Yacht-Master 40 in a blue dial with red accented seconds hand and name at the 6 o'clock position. The Deepsea, this is the James Cameron edition. You can also get it in the standard Rolex Sports black dial. So it's the black dial with the same type of hour markers and hands. Specifically, like I said, this is the James Cameron edition, and this is the James Cameron edition because this is paying homage to the Deepsea challenge that was done by Rolex and James Cameron, where James Cameron went into the Mariana Trench and took a deep sea with him. So this is the homage to the watch that James Cameron took with him, not the actual model style itself. And you can see that with the beautiful blue to black gradient on the dial with the Deepsea name in a nice green highlight that contrasts very nicely on the dial. But like I said, if you're not interested in this color gradient or that Deepsea name in the green, you can also get it in just the regular sports black. Okay. As you can see, these watches both have the same style hour markers, which is the maxi dial hour markers, which are 30% larger hour markers, circular hour markers with the index at the 6 and 9 o'clock position, triangular 12 o'clock position. At the 3 o'clock position, we have the date windows. For the Yacht-Master 40, we have the Cyclops lens. As you can see, it protrudes from the top of that crystal to magnify and have an easier viewing of that date. For the Deepsea, I do apologize for the hand getting in the way there, but for the Deepsea, let me actually move this out of the way. So for the Deepsea, you can see that there's no Cyclops window on top of that sapphire crystal. It's just a nice smooth crystal throughout, and the reasoning for that, instead of having that date window on there as well to add more to that crystal, is because the crystal itself is already 5 millimeters thick. So double the crystal thickness of the Yacht-Master, as the Deepsea is a professional diver's watch, whereas the Yacht-Master is more of a still a sports piece, but it's more of a dressier hybrid of a sports piece and dress piece. And because of the thickness of that sapphire crystal, it already sort of magnifies that date itself. So it's not as hard to read as if it would be if it was the same standard size crystal as the Yacht-Master with no Cyclops lens on top of that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the bezel now. So for the bezel, the Yacht-Master, we have this beautiful 950 platinum bi-directional rotatable 60-minute graduated bezel with raised numerals. The raised numerals are nicely high polished and contrasting to that platinum dusting throughout the bezel. The bezel, as I did mention, is a bidirectional bezel, so it does shift left and right. And as this name states, as the Yacht-Master, this is used for tracking elapsed time for yacht racing. So you can, you can set times for current laps and track that easily. Well, it also could be used for everyday use, such as running a mile or such, and you can track how much elapsed time has passed simply just by moving the triangular 12 o'clock position over to the minute, and you can see that simple tracking of passage of time when the minute hand moves. For the Deepsea, Same thing, tracks elapsed time the same way that the Yacht-Master does, but it is unidirectional. As I mentioned, it is a diver's watch. So as you can see, you can't turn it to the right, it just goes to the left. The bezel itself is a black Cerachrome bezel that is unidirectional. It has a 60-minute graduated on the bezel itself, and the Cerachrome is a fancy word for Rolex, meaning that it's just a black ceramic bezel. Nicely, it almost looks like it's nicely high polished, very beautiful, very reflective as well. But the reason for this Deepsea being unidirectional is because if you're a diver and you set the bezel to how much oxygen you had left, or how much time you had left for the oxygen, like let's just say you had 10 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and switch it over there, 10 minutes. You wouldn't want to accidentally bump the watch into something and then it suddenly shifts the other way and gives you a false reading of your oxygen levels. That would be fatal. So that's why this bezel is just simply unidirectional, for that reason. Otherwise, you can still use the bezel the same way you could use the Yacht-Master. You can use it to track elapsed time, track that mile, or track yachts as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the case now. So for the case sizing, we're looking at a 40mm case for the Yacht-Master 40. So index finger to my thumb here, that's 40mm in diameter. Deepsea's is 44mm in diameter. For the thickness of the watch, one of the main differences here, you can see the thickness is very, very different. Drastically different. It almost looks like there's two Yacht-Masters stacked on top of each other to make the Deepsea there. The total thickness of the Yacht-Master 40 is 11.5, whereas the Deepsea is 17.7. And that's of course to house that large sapphire crystal, that 5mm thick sapphire crystal. You also notice that the Deepsea has this little circular indentation on it, whereas the Yacht-Master doesn't. As I said, Deepsea, diver's watch. As divers go deep into the sea, they come up via a depressurization chamber. And that depressurization chamber has gases such as helium, is a mixture of gases, but helium being one of them, can easily slip into the watch and actually build up pressure behind the watch crystal and pop that crystal out. So that's this little helium escape valve allows the helium to escape out of the watch after a certain pressure point. It'll just simply release out on its own. So very ingenious thing by Rolex to make. Okay. Moving on to, one thing I forgot to mention, I do apologize, is that as I mentioned, the Yacht-Master 40 is more of like a hybrid between a sports and a dress watch. You can see the lugs of the case nicely high polished on the Yacht-Master 40. See the high polish, whereas the Deepsea, you have a more sand finish, is more sportier watch because of that sand finish throughout the whole lug. See on the bottom as well, you can see high polish versus that sand finish. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the crown now. So they both have crown protectors for their respective crowns. They pretty much have the same functions. I'm actually just going to go ahead and show you those functions on the Yacht-Master. So the crown is a screw down trip lock waterproofness system. Simply unwinds counterclockwise as so. So in the standard position, this is where you can wind the watch. 15 to 20 clockwise turns is all you need to get the watch started from a dead stop. Simply tugging out the crown once to the next position. Oops. Okay. Tugging out the crown to the next position will allow you to adjust the date instantaneously as shown just by going clockwise. You can see the date shifts very quickly, very easily. Of course, going the other way doesn't do anything. Pulling the crown out to the final position will stop that second hand, so I'll show you once more. So you see the second hand moving, and you can stop it by tugging the crown out all the way. And then you can set the time bidirectional however you like. The stopping of the second hand does allow for precise time settings, such as to an atomic clock online. You can set it down to the exact seconds for precise time setting. And of course, pressing the crown back in will start that second hand. And always make sure to screw the crown nice and tight again against the case. Actually, let me go ahead and fix this date here. There we are. Specifically for the Yacht-Master, the water resistance of the Yacht-Master is 100 meters or 330 feet. For the Deepsea, you're looking at a water resistance of course, being a professional diver's watch. You're looking at a water resistance of 3,900 meters or 12,800 feet. So about 39 meters, 39 times those meters deeper than the Yacht-Master. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the bracelets now. So for the bracelets, same style bracelets, just that the Yacht-Master has a nice high polish down the center of the 3-piece links. These are oyster bracelets. The satin finish contrasts next to the high polish to make it stand out a bit more. Of course, for the Deepsea, we have a satin finish throughout the whole oyster bracelet. Moving on to the clasp now, you can see one has a smaller clasp, one has a larger clasp. Same style though, which is the safety folding oyster lock, which I'll show you. As so. So that's the little safety there. And then the folding opens up. So safety. And then folding oyster. And there we are. So we have the Rolex logo embossed onto these beautiful high polished clasp blades. There is one thing different about the back of the clasp, however, for adjustment of the bracelet. So behind every Rolex watch, or behind every clasp on a Rolex watch, there's an adjustment feature on the bracelet itself back here. Specifically for the Yacht-Master, you can see these little pin pushes on the sides of it that actually allows you to adjust a bracelet 5 millimeters forward or inward, such as for like hot summer days when your wrist swells up, or colder days when your wrist, vice versa. But for the Yacht-Master, or not for the Yacht-Master, but for the Deepsea, they have this. They recently came out with this more ingenious way of adjusting. Simply pulling the bracelet out at a 45-degree angle. You see these little rivets here. These little rivets allow for 2 millimeters increment adjustment to a total of 20 millimeters. So you can adjust the bracelet more than you can on the Yacht-Master because of this feature. As you just saw, I pulled out the top of the clasp to see these riveted edges, and then you can actually just simply pull the bracelet inward or outward as you like. Close that back up, and then you have your extra change in bracelet fitting perfectly on your wrist. Now the reason why that's a feature on the Deepsea is because for divers, when they put on their wetsuits, they want to be able to adjust or watch it fit comfortably on their wetsuit, so that gives them that ability to do so. So now let's go ahead and move on to the movement now. So for the movements, they're housed, for the Yacht-Master, housed in this simple oyster case backing. For the Deepsea, we have a titanium case backing with the Deepsea name embossed all around the back of the case back. You can see the Deepsea, Rolex Oyster, the crown logos. However, both these watches use the same movement, which is Rolex's tried and tested movement for over 10 years. This is the perpetual mechanical self-winding caliber 3135 movement. It has a precision of -2 + 2 seconds a day, and has the functions of simply just a center, hour, minute, and seconds hand with the changing of the date with rapid setting, and stopping in the seconds hand for precise time setting, as I've shown you with the crown functions. The oscillator for both of these is the paramagnetic blue paracomb hairspring, which adds resistance against magnetism. And the power reserve of these watches is approximately 48 hours, meaning you can put this watch down on a Friday evening, pick it back up on a Sunday afternoon, and it'll be keeping time just fine. Alright, so let me actually go ahead and show you these watches on my wrist now. So once again, locate that safety, and then the folding oyster. Fit it on there. And there we are. There's a Yacht-Master 40, absolutely gorgeous Rhodium style dial. That blue accent really standing out. Don't forget about that Platinum Bezel with nicely high polished Arabic numerals. The high polish on the lugs of the case matching with the high polish on the bracelet. The sand finish really bringing out the best of both worlds there. Now let me actually show you the Deepsea. So once again, locate that safety, folding, goes on as so. Okay. So that James Cameron dial, absolutely gorgeous, that gradient from blue to black. That black ceramic bezel stands out very nicely, shines very nicely as well. Once again, I just want to show you the side profiles of these watches. You can see the Yacht-Master will fit in a suit cuff, stress cuffs very nicely, but the Yacht-Master, very big, very bold, so probably won't be able to fit under that suit cuff. Alright, so if you're interested in any of these watches for the lowest possible price, check out our website at JazTime.com. We have the lowest price guaranteed. We offer a 1-year warranty. And if you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at JazTime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.